Hi everyone. I think I'm live. Hi everyone. So I'm going live today to talk about crowdfunding. So what is crowdfunding? And I posted an explanation. Crowdfunding is the practice of funding a project or venture by raising money from a large number of people, typically through the internet. So there are a ton of platforms out there to do crowdfunding. So it doesn't matter what type of investor you are. It doesn't even matter if you're an accredited investor. And remember, the SEC says that an accredited investor is somebody who has over like $1 million in investments, or has an LLC that's producing revenue of like 5 million. There are a lot of different ways to qualify as an accredited investor, but you don't have to be an accredited investor to run a crowdfunding campaign. So I have posted a lot of different links today on my profile. One of those links is to a YouTube video where I talk about my first attempt at crowdfunding and how I failed. This was a couple of years ago. The second link is the link to a bit.ly link, which takes you to a document, a PDF document of the crowdfunding deck that I did a couple of years ago when I tried to run a funding campaign for my business. So I'm curious if anybody's ever tried crowdfunding. I actually know somebody who has, so I've talked to them. But I'm curious if anybody else out there has attempted crowdfunding. There's a lot of different ways to raise capital. Real estate investors talk about raising capital through like partnering with people who have money and then just using those funds either in a trust or a bank account or whatever they set up for their deal. But there's other ways of raising money for a business or a startup. And one of those ways is crowdfunding. And AI actually has really exploded, right, in that area as well, like the techie industry. So a lot of these crowdfunding campaigns are actually driven by tech companies. I am not a tech company, even though I'm kind of striving for virtual CFO pros to go more fintech than just having like a service platform where I come in and do some sort of consulting or provide a service for a small business. So fintech is actually the type of role that I want virtual CFO pros to play. And so I'm going to use that in this crowdfunding that I'm going to be doing. Actually, it's not just me. I actually hired people to help me with this crowdfunding campaign. So crowdfunding, unfortunately, is not free. Even the platforms that you use for crowdfunding, you'll have to pay for those platforms. And you can even hire a team of people to help you run a crowdfunding campaign on the multiple platforms that are out there for people. And so I'm just curious. I thought we could play this game. For those of you who are familiar with my business and what I do, and where I'm trying to take virtual CFO pros, I'm trying to take it more like fintech, financial tech company, even though there will be service providers, right? Because there's CPA advisors and virtual CFOs who are behind this service, this virtual CFO service, but I am trying to take it more fintech. So I'm curious, for those of you who are experts or not, whatever, your field is, what do you think will be the amount of money that I'll be able to raise for this campaign? This is my second attempt, and I've actually created a poll. I don't know if you can see it or not. I'm going to go ahead and activate it now, actually. So now it's an active campaign poll asking you how much money do you think I'll be able to raise for this campaign that I'm trying to do. Crowdfunding. So just a little bit more on crowdfunding. So people who sit behind the crowdfunding are investors or venture capitalists. So maybe like 30 years ago or 20 years ago, it was a little bit different because people actually had to go to these venture capitalists, and a lot of them weren't even around 20, 30 years ago. But they would go to these people and say, hey, I have a business idea, whether you're just starting or maybe you're several years into the business, but here's my business idea. This is where I'm trying to take it. This is how much revenue I've raised over the last year or 2 years. And this is what I forecast my revenue will be, 5 years from now. And if you help me fund my startup idea, I'll share these earnings with you. That's how venture capitalists work, or most investors work. Crowdfunding is a little bit different because you share the earnings with the platform that you're using crowdfunding for. And again, crowdfunding is not like a one-person job. I realized that if you check out my YouTube channel on crowdfunding, I failed the first time I did crowdfunding. I did not raise any money. And so I'm using services now to help me actually win at this crowdfunding stuff. So I'm curious if anybody's done it. If you have, let me know in comments below if you've ever done crowdfunding, and message me with any questions on crowdfunding or starting a business. I always love to hear about business ideas, and if you're venturing into an entrepreneurial kind of spirit and you just want to pick somebody's brain about it, I always love talking to people about stuff like that. So feel free to DM me or message me below this video, and wish me luck on crowdfunding. Thanks. Bye.